Individually, Liverpool have some. Henderson is a good player, but he's better because he plays in this team. It's the same for all of them. And United have some good players who are individually good players who are worse because they play in a dysfunctional team. And that's the case with Martial.
Who are the underachievers in the United squad?
Well, you've got Luke Shaw, Paul Pogba to an extent. But I think one of the most prominent cases of that is Anthony Martial. When he joined from Monaco for big money, there was a lot of hype around him. And he justified it initially, playing under LVG, like he scored on his debut. He was scoring regularly at the age of 19, and this was before Rashford came through. He was like the player that they relied on to score goals because it was him, Rooney, and like Juan Mata, and so he was the main attacker, and he was doing really well. But since Van Gaal left and Mourinho's come in and then Solskjaer's come in, he's really stagnated. And I don't think it's because of a lack of talent, but the management that he's been under is really, really poor, and like he's wasting his formative years at a club that aren't developing him as a player. And like he missed out on France's World Cup squad in 2018 because of it. Martial's miss against Liverpool that Gary Neville was absolutely fuming at on TV. He should have scored, but if he's more confident playing in a better team with a more coherent strategy, then he probably does score that goal. But he kind of snatched at it because it was the only chance he was going to get all game. He's just wasting away in this team. Like, and so many players do go in and they regress, which at Manchester United players should not be regressing. You look at like the way Liverpool have developed Mane, who in terms of raw talent compared to Martial, when they signed from Southampton and Monaco respectively, there's not a lot in it. But Klopp sees what he wants, sees a player that he likes, and he like fine tunes him into the player that he wants him to be. And Martial just hasn't had that at United.
I think it's the knock-on effect when you get a manager like your Klopp or Guardiola or even Rodgers. There's like a development plan in place for each player, whereas Martial, like sometimes still he plays out wide, he plays up front on his own. There's no real like, what is he to this Man United team? And then it's also because the other players as well around him, there's no setup, there's no structure to it at all. And this is the thing with Klopp, like first season he didn't win anything at Liverpool, but there was the makings of something there. I think people could see it. And now you're seeing that he has this 1 to 11, he has this unbelievable team to a man. I think most of us would agree are better than United players, but only because he's worked with them in this way and he's brought them to this point.
And as you're saying with Klopp, team works as a unit, and like individually Liverpool have some. Henderson is a good player, but he's better because he plays in this team. It's the same for all of them. And United have some good players who are individually good players who are worse because they play in a dysfunctional team. And that's the case with Martial.
Yep.
Like there's no partnerships. Like Liverpool have good partnerships all over the field between the wingers and the fullbacks, between the centre-backs and the DM, everything like that. Martial doesn't really have a good partnership with anyone in the squad, bar like Rashford, but even then they're quite similar. And sometimes they'll play Rashford through the middle, and sometimes they'll just swap them around. And there's no like consistency of tactics that helps a player develop their overall game.